So it's that time of the month again. Boruto TBV Vortex Chapter 23. The sneak peek has been released, and we're going to be discussing what exactly ends up taking place, as the next chapter is going to be pretty interesting due to the simple fact that we already saw that Boruto's Uzuhiko is not working on Jura at all. So what exactly can we expect from Boruto this chapter? Is he going to get help? Is somebody else going to come and fight Boruto? Or is he going to leave? This is what we hope to figure out in this upcoming chapter. But from the looks of the sneak peek, we are still in the battle between Jura and Boruto, and something quite interesting seems to be taking place. And for my first analysis of this right now, one thing we can see is that Boruto is using the purple lightning using just one hand, almost like what we saw from Haku back in the days, who was one of the first people that we saw be able to use jutsu with not two hands but just one, which is pretty interesting to see take place. But also, simply from Jura's reaction, we have Jura who actually looks kind of surprised. Whether this is due to Boruto's attack or something else, this is one of the first few times that in a battle, we have seen Jura not look so composed, but look a little bit more surprised of what he is seeing take place. And there's a few reasons that that could be the case. First thing that we have to discuss is the fact of where exactly this page is being given to us. Is this happening early on in the chapter, or is this happening a little bit later? My belief is that this is happening very early on in the chapter, where we're still seeing the fight between Boruto and Jura, where Boruto is still struggling to fight Jura. We still do see that Boruto is sweating a lot if you do pay attention to the first panel, and he does have a little bit of scars around him, while Jura, even after being hit, it doesn't really appear like he has too many like marks of, okay, I'm tired, or I've been fighting for a long time, or I'm being pushed back. So I would still say that Jura is winning this battle. But one thing that is interesting to see is that out of every attack that Boruto has ever landed on Jura, this is the attack in which we see Jura kind of be surprised. Even when the Uzuhiko was launched on Jura, we did see Jura go down for a brief moment, but he never looked surprised. He just knew exactly what he had to do due to the Uzuhiko's properties. So maybe lightning, or maybe just purple lightning, is a weakness to Jura, because we definitely have to see some sort of a weakness to Jura, or at least the Senju in general. We do know about their emotional state and how they don't understand their emotions, and it could be utilized in battle. But for somebody like Jura, who doesn't really want to go down that path of following his emotions, a different weakness could be something that we see explored. A lot of people did discuss the fact that maybe we see Senjutsu being a weakness to Jura and some of the Senju, which is something that was the only thing that is effective against the Ten Tails, as we saw in the war, as a lot of ninjutsu didn't really work on him, and taijutsu either. But senjutsu was told to be some sort of a weakness that shinobis could use against the Ten Tails. So that could be the case here too, but it doesn't appear to be any sort of senjutsu related attack, as some of the translations do let us know that this is purple lightning. And simply from what we see that Jura is genuinely surprised. So to me, whatever is happening has left Jura a little bit surprised and bewildered at everything that is going on. So one thing I would suspect, in my personal opinion, is that Boruto, either it is due to Boruto's action using the purple lightning, or Boruto said something before that left Jura thinking maybe this is related to love, and that's why Jura has this surprised look, as he was caught off guard by what Boruto said, and Boruto then use his attack after being grabbed, or simply due to the fact that Boruto continues to fight Jura, continues to endure all these heartaches just so that his friends won't die, and Jura, seeing that, is kind of shocked at the emotions that Boruto is able to pour. Or just like what is being hinted towards, as we saw with Sarada, Boruto is gradually getting stronger as he is protecting people he loves. And we have seen in the Naruto series that is strength. Strength from your bonds, strength from the people who you call friends, and the reason why you're fighting. That is what it is to be a shinobi, to endure, hoping for a better future, as that is what Boruto is doing in this fight. But at the end of the day, when Boruto was trying to hit Jura, Jura was not only able to react to Boruto's attack, but he was able to grab Boruto's hand, and it forced Boruto to use his purple lightning as a way to retreat, as Jura then ended up opening his arms, and then Boruto seems to have had a better opportunity to flee. So what this does end up telling us is that the fight is still not in Boruto's favor. This is a cool sequence that we're seeing from Boruto, but things at the moment still don't look good on Boruto's side, as Boruto still right now seems not to be capable of defeating Jura, especially just from seeing this panel of Jura reacting to Boruto's slash by grabbing Boruto's hand before he even lands, and Boruto was forced to use the purple lightning. It is still cool combat from Boruto's side, especially due to the fact that Boruto has been told by Kashin Koji that he will die every single time he ends up fighting Jura, at least in these current events. So for Boruto to be putting such a fight against an opponent that is this strong, I'll still give Boruto the props. And also, Boruto, out of everybody that we have seen fight Jura at the moment, is the only person who has actually made Jura kind of surprised while fighting, which is another plus on Boruto's side. So this is what we do end up getting from the first page, and my predictions for the next chapter is going to be as follows. There's a few routes that I believe that the story could end up taking. In my personal opinion, we're going to be seeing the end of this fight, which will end up resulting in either a little bit of Jura talking to Boruto while Boruto is sealed in his wood style that we have seen him use on Himawari. However, in this case, we have a Jura who will not try to end up devouring Boruto, as he says that Kawaki is enough to serve as Otsutsuki fodder. So we know that he's not going to use Boruto to end up creating a chakra fruit, but what we do end up knowing is that Jura intends to kill Boruto. So this is where we have a couple of different things that we can see take place, and I did discuss them in a couple of videos. The first path is that of Kawaki ended up joining the fight after getting his liberties removed. We haven't seen any updates on that being the case by Amado or Kawaki. The last thing we did see was them going back and forth with Kawaki giving his arguments as to why he has to have the power first before he ends up even attempting to put his karma seal onto Delta. Maybe due to everything that is happening, Kawaki ends up just giving his karma to Delta as fast as possible so he can get his power and go and defeat Jura. This is a possibility that could end up taking place. Or we don't see Kawaki at all, and Kawaki wasn't able to get his limiters on time, and for the moment what we do end up seeing take place is Momoshiki, who ends up taking over versus Jura, as this is a moment in which Boruto was supposedly meant to die through what we've known and heard from Kashin Koji. And since they are both looking into the future, with Momoshiki, who has an ability to see his own future, and with Kashin Koji, who has the ability to see different paths of the future, if this future is a future in which Boruto could die, meaning Momoshiki would die, Momoshiki has also seen that future himself, and thus he has the ability to act something so that he doesn't let Boruto die versus Jura. That is an option that we could see take place. Regardless of what happens, maybe we do get a brief moment between Jura versus Momoshiki, and potentially Kawaki could even join that fight later on to see what ends up taking place. This is one route. Now, another one is one where we see Kashin Koji, who ends up joining the fight himself. He is one of those people that has the ability to see the future, thus is a singularity of fate. So his own actions are not necessarily encountered on when it comes to those futures. Thus he is able to change the future himself, as due to seeing the future, he can act differently in a way that allows the future to move towards a better scenario. So him, as the singularity of fate, either decides to come to Boruto's aid or allows the other people to escape, like all of his friends with the sword thorn, giving Boruto a chance to end up escaping. But it will be quite interesting to see how that ends up going on, because in my opinion, with all the death flags that we heard about Jura and him being the one to kill Boruto and bring the world to his end, what I do believe should end up taking place, in the fact that nobody ends up dying, we do have to see somebody die or at least get very close to death in this fight to make a payoff of Boruto leaving that important. If it doesn't happen, it would just feel a bit like a cop-out due to the fact that we all believed that Boruto would die. So if somebody doesn't die in the place of Boruto, it won't really hit that hard in my personal opinion. Or if Morishiki doesn't take over, leading to Boruto being kind of dead in his own psyche due to the fact that he was forced to use the karma, it will again feel a little bit redundant, and the payoff of us hearing all the time about how strong Jura is and how he can kill Boruto, it wouldn't really pay off after we don't see at least somebody die or Boruto be affected by the fight that takes place between Jura right now. There needs to be some level of consequence to prove what Kashin Koji was saying about Jura killing Boruto almost every single time to actually be true. So, those are my personal opinions on what we could end up seeing next. Let me know your thoughts, comments, and concerns about whatever is going to happen in this next chapter, or what you personally want to take place, or your predictions in the comment section below. It's been your boy Dynasty, and I'm out, bruh.